Hello, viewers. Welcome to Courts Today. Let us dive into the important legal headlines of the day. The Supreme Court has rejected BJP Minister Vijay Shah's apology for remarks against Colonel Sofia Qureshi and has ordered formation of an SIT. Ashoka University professor Ali Khan Mahmoodabad has approached the Supreme Court against arrest over a post on the Operation Sindoor. The Supreme Court has held that all retired High Court judges are entitled to equal and full pension based on one rank, one pension principle. In the Sambhal Masjid Road, the Allahabad High Court has upheld trial court's survey order and said that Hindu plaintiff's suit is not barred. The Supreme Court, while rejecting a Sri Lankan Tamil's plea, said that India is not a dharamshala and cannot host refugees from all over. And the Apex Court has ordered status quo on the Bale Shah Pir Dargah demolition. I'm Urvashi Chauhan, bringing you the most important legal updates of the day, quick, crisp, and to the point. Watch this till the end, and if you find this update valuable, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. The Supreme Court today said that a special investigation team comprising 3 senior IPS officers who do not belong to the state of Madhya Pradesh must investigate the FIR against BJP Minister Kumar Vijay Shah for his remarks against Colonel Sofia Qureshi. Qureshi, as you know, gained national attention during the Indian Air Force's military operations against terrorist sites in Pakistan, which was titled as Operation Sindoor. She had addressed the media on behalf of the armed forces during that time. BJP Minister Kumar Vijay Shah later made controversial remarks at a public event saying that those who wiped off the sindoor of our daughters, we avenged them by sending their sister to destroy them. These remarks were widely perceived as a communal and personal attack on Colonel Qureshi. Last week, the Madhya Pradesh High Court took suo motu cognizance of the remarks. It called the language used by Shah as disparaging, dangerous, and language of the gutters. It directed the MP DGP to immediately register an FIR. Today, the matter came up before a bench of Justices Suryakant and N. Koteshwar Singh of the Supreme Court in response to 2 petitions filed by Vijay Shah. First, challenging the High Court's direction to register an FIR, and second, challenging High Court's observation that it would monitor the investigation. The top court has directed that a special investigation team be constituted to probe this case. The SIT must consist of 3 senior IPS officers who are not from Madhya Pradesh, with at least one of them being a woman. The court observed that Madhya Pradesh DGP is to form this team by 10 a.m. tomorrow. The SIT will be headed by an officer of Inspector General of Police rank, while the other 2 members must be of the rank of Superintendent of Police or higher. While the court has stayed Vijay Shah's arrest, this relief is conditional upon his full cooperation with the investigation. Additionally, let me tell you, the court directed that a status report be submitted by the SIT on the progress of the probe. The matter will now be taken up for further hearing on 28th May. Let me also tell you here that the court rejected Shah's public apology. Also, the bench addressed the representatives of the state and questioned their lack of action in the matter. It remarked that when the High Court had to step in and effectively rewrite the FIR, it reflected poorly on the state's response. It asked whether the authorities had even examined if any cognizable offense was made out against the minister. Emphasizing the importance of fair and responsible governance, the bench stated that people expect the state to act impartially and uphold the rule of law. The court acknowledged that the High Court had fulfilled its duty by taking suo motu action, but pointed out that the state should have taken more substantial steps on its own by this point. Ashoka University professor Ali Khan Mahmoodabad, who was arrested by the Haryana police over a Facebook post on Operation Sindoor, has approached the Supreme Court for relief. Senior advocate Kapil Sibal mentioned the petition before Chief Justice of India B.R. Gavai today for urgent listing. The CJI agreed to list the matter tomorrow or the day after. Let me tell you, yesterday, the magistrate had remanded the professor to police custody for 2 days. The arrest has sparkled debate over the limits of free speech, especially when it concerns posts made on social media platforms. In a landmark judgment, the Supreme Court has held that all retired High Court judges are entitled to full and equal pension, irrespective of their date of retirement, mode of appointment, or previous service. The court affirmed that the principle of one rank, one pension must apply to all retired judges, calling any discrimination in pension benefits unconstitutional. A bench led by Chief Justice of India B.R. Gavai, along with Justices A.G. Masi and K. Vinod Chandran, delivered the judgment today. The court was dealing with the suo motu case as well as petitions filed by retired judges seeking clarity and parity in retiral benefits. The court directed the the Union of India to pay 15 lakh per annum as full pension to retired Chief Justices of High Courts and 13.5 lakh per annum to other retired High Court judges, including additional judges. It clarified that there should be no discrimination based on whether the judge was appointed from the bar or promoted from the district judiciary. Importantly, the court ruled that a break in service between retiring from the district judiciary and being appointed to the High Court cannot be a ground to deny full pension. Further, judges who enter the judiciary under the new pension scheme are also entitled to full pension, and states must refund their contributions to NPS along with dividends. The court also issued directions for family pensions and gratuity to be paid to the widow or family of judges who died in service, regardless of whether they were permanent or additional judges. The benefits must include leave encashment, provident fund, and pension commutation as per High Court judges' Salaries and Conditions of Service Act 1954. CJI Gawai, while pronouncing the verdict, emphasized that dignity of the constitutional office demands equal post-retirement treatment. Moving ahead, the Allahabad High Court today rejected the plea filed by the Mosque Committee challenging the trial court's order that allowed a survey of the Sambhal Mosque premises. The survey had been ordered in a civil suit alleging that the mosque was built after demolishing a Hindu temple. A single bench of Justice Rohit Ranjan Agarwal upheld the order passed by civil judge on November 19th last year, which appointed an advocate commissioner to conduct the survey. The High Court also observed that the suit filed by Hindu plaintiffs is prima facie not barred. If you recall, the case originated from a civil suit filed by 8 Hindu plaintiffs, including Mahant Rajrishi Giri, who claimed that the Sambhal Mosque, also referred to as Jumma Mosque sometimes, was constructed in 1526 during the reign of Mughal ruler Babur, after partially demolishing an ancient Harihar temple which was dedicated to Kalki, the last avatar of Lord Vishnu. Last year, the trial court had ordered a survey of the mosque by an advocate commissioner. The Mosque Committee challenged the survey order before the High Court, arguing that the order was passed hastily and without any notice being served to them. They also pointed out that the survey was carried out on the same day the order was passed, leaving them no time to respond. Justice Agarwal, while dismissing the Mosque Committee's objections, has today noted that there was no apparent legal bar on the Hindu plaintiff's claim and upheld the need for survey to ascertain facts on the ground. The court refused to interfere with the lower court's decision. In November 2024, let me tell you, the top court had stayed further trial court proceedings after the Mosque Committee approached it. The apex court directed that the case should not progress further until the High Court heard the Mosque Committee's plea against the survey order. Well, that interim stay is no longer in effect following today's High Court ruling. During the High Court's hearing, let me tell you, the Archaeological Survey of India submitted that the Jumma Mosque is a centrally protected monument under the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act, and that the mosque is not described as a religious site in official records. In another update, the top court has refused to intervene in the detention of a Sri Lankan Tamil national who has completed 7 years sentence under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. He had been convicted in 2018 for allegedly being a LTTE operative and was sentenced to 10 years by the trial court. In 2022, the Madras High Court reduced his sentence to 7 years but directed that he must leave India immediately upon his completion and remain in a refugee camp until then. He approached the top court now seeking relief from deportation, claiming a threat to his life if sent back to Sri Lanka. The petitioner's lawyer argued that the man had been in detention for nearly 3 years after completing his sentence and that his wife and children were settled in India. He also cited serious health concerns in the family and the risk of arrest and torture in Sri Lanka. However, Justice Dipankar Datta questioned the petitioner's right to settle in India, stating that the right to settle under Article 19 is available only to Indian citizens. The court noted that the petitioner's liberty was curtailed as per law and that there was no violation of Article 21. During the hearing, Justice Datta, heading the bench, made a sharp remark saying that India is not a dharamshala meant to host refugees from across the world. And lastly, the top court has today ordered a status quo on the Maharashtra government's proposed demolition of the alleged illegal constructions at the Bale Shah Pir Dargah in Uttan. This means no demolition can take place for now. The bench, let me tell you, comprising Chief Justice of India B.R. Gawai and Justice A.G. Masih, passed this order while hearing an appeal against the Bombay High Court's refusal to interfere in the matter. The High Court had earlier observed that there was no urgency which had been shown to justify a stay on the demolition. The demolition, let me tell you, was ordered on grounds that the Dargah Trust had allegedly encroached upon government land, including areas covering protected mangrove groove belts. Senior advocate Vijay Naware, representing the Dargah Trust, informed the bench that the Revenue Minister of Maharashtra had made a public statement in the Legislative Council that demolition would be carried out before 20th May. Naware also stated that Dargah Trust had moved the Supreme Court urgently in view of the imminent demolition. He pointed out that the structures in question were part of religious site and that action was being rushed without proper consideration. The court then directed that the matter be taken up again after 4 weeks, and until then, no demolition can proceed.